Anybody in the portal, you know ain't hard to find.
Colorado has a top 20 transfer class in the country after four-star Noah King's commitment. Deion Sanders always promises fireworks in the transfer portal. In this transfer portal, even though it was supposed to be closed last week, it's still delivering. He's got a lot more people leaving, and we have updates on where they've landed and some potential landing spots there. But more importantly, for Colorado fans, you got some big names that came in, and that solved a few of the things that he was looking for. And if you don't remember, even though I probably played the video at the beginning, Coach Prime is only looking for a few positions. Just a defensive tackle, a linebacker, two safety, an entire team. What is he looking for?
Let's start one tremendous defensive tackle, another linebacker or two, two safeties, probably three corners, one receiver, that's a grown man, that's a dog, a couple running backs, tight end, maybe a guard, tackle, maybe two centers. Thank you.
Two centers is the thing that's ridiculous. Like, dog, it's not an NBA team. Yeah, man, like y'all know what it was. And he said all that. And when we talked about that, I think that was about a month ago. Last spring meeting or last before the spring, and I was like, hey, that is a declaration to the people in the locker room, either coming in or coming out, and it's to let people know that Deion knows people are leaving, right, and to let people know that there's also people coming in to replace. So. Initially, there was some scare about Colton Hood leaving. We talked about Colton Hood leaving, and we already talked about Brandon Hood, who was supposed to be the starting running back from him. We already talked about Trevor Woods leaving. We got a new landing spot for him, so we'll talk about that and get deeper into there. Also just the plethora of wide receivers that Colorado already has, and they continue to have it. So let's take a look at the full scope of what has been lost and in and out and left and right. So on the outside, you have Isaiah Augusta for Virginia. Brandon Hood. You have Adrian Wilson, the wide receiver. Again, he didn't even get to play. He was at UNC. Tight end Sam Hart, formerly of Ohio State. He hasn't landed anywhere. Cash Cleveland landed at Texas Tech. Zachariah Owens landed at Mississippi State. You got Aiden DeCorte. And then you got Jay Gardenhire. I can't pronounce some of these names. You got Taj McCoy. He landed at Oklahoma State. Great player. Jalen Wester, linebacker. Kareem Garcia, linebacker. Trent Hood, linebacker. Guys, a lot of linebackers they lost. Them boys need one of them. You got cornerback Colton Hood from Tennessee. He landed at Tennessee. We'll talk about him. Another cornerback, Ben Bosey. And then another cornerback, Malachi Murphy. And then safety, Savion Riley. He has landed at Georgia Tech. Brought in is running back Dick Holland Taylor, who we'll talk about. Sincere Brown, who's the 6'5" wide receiver. Campbell, I believe. Hakeem Williams, who's from Florida State. Offensive line Xavier Hill from Memphis. Offensive tackle Larry Johnson. And then you got cornerback Tion Parks, cornerback Noah King. And then you also have safety Terrence Love, safety John Slaughter, and long snapper Luke Whitting. So let's go through the different Buffaloes that have been added. And then at the end, we're going to, of course, talk about Trevor Woods as well as one of the Hood brothers, going to Tennessee and Jacksonville State, respectively. But we'll get there when we cross it. So first things first, Luke Whitting. So the CU Buffs added commitment from long snapper that spent time at Idaho State and Florida Atlantic previously. He has 3 years to play 3. I don't know. I think he meant he has 3 years of eligibility. But obviously, you saw in the list of the players that were lost that there was a long snapper amongst them. And then you have a wide receiver room. Now, I don't know what the deal is with this Buffalo staff. I think they really, 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 really want to have just the deepest wide receiver room that we've ever seen. Sorry, get another transfer portal update, but it's all good. I think they just want to have the deepest wide receiver room in the nation because you add this 6'3" former 5-star recruit from Florida State that, if you do remember, and it's crazy. I couldn't find the picture, but he infamously mocked Travis Hunter whenever he committed to Florida State after Travis Hunter flipped, saying, ain't no Travis Hunter here, we good, XYZ, and he said he could do it. But then he got to Florida State, and then a year under that dumpster fire in DJU, I think he changed his tunes, and I think he had to learn, hey, what was Travis Hunter doing? Because clearly, he went ahead and joined the Buffs. And again, when I talk about dynamicness, dynamism, whatever they call it, the availability to have variability within a wide receiver room, someone else is hopping to the port. Like, it just has to be, because at this point now you got 6'3" speedster Hakeem Williams, you got Omarion Miller, you got Isaiah Harge, you got Draylon Miller, you got Quentin Gibson, you got Quanell Farrakhan, you got there's too many. You got Joseph Williams who's becoming a standout guy. You got Mike Mitchell is his name. I forgot other homies' names. There's too many names. There's too many wide receivers. They've got 2 basketball teams worth of a wide receiver. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But I think he's going to be a great player. Any player out there in the Florida area is going to do good. Now, we have seen a bit of a loss in offensive lineman. I thought we saw a few different players get lost. And this is extremely good to see. You don't just get an offensive lineman, you get an SEC offensive lineman from Tennessee, and just a part of one of the best running attacks in the nation, definitely one of the best running attacks within the SEC, which is saying a lot. Dylan Sampson was runner behind this big bad dog right here. So that's Mr. Larry Johnson, the offensive tackle from Tennessee. He's 6'7", 350 pounds, and played right tackle 15 games over the last 2 seasons, and was working with the Vols first team offense this spring. So he's a former top-ranked JUCO recruit, clearly, and that's something that we always have to make sure that we understand, right? Understand, and Deion says this too. Look, this is a guy who couldn't make it, right? He couldn't start at Tennessee, so he had to go ahead and pass. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be good value. Again, at right tackle, if you're not familiar with football, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're familiar with football, but just briefly, a right tackle, sometimes considered the running tackle, right? You know, they're going to be putting a lot of motions and stuff like that. You're going to hope that he does that, because the left tackle, the blind side, is going to be your best pass rush guy. That's the person you want to shut down, the top pass rusher. Just rule of thumb stuff. The right tackle is usually not as good, but really good in the run game. Often big. You want a people mover right there. So I think that's a good advantage. Jordan Seaton's going to do what he does, and I think that, especially with the sizes of some of the tackles, I don't see why you don't kick somebody in, on that right side. I think they have a decent offensive line composition right now. It's still, it's still coming in together. I think the only thing that's secured is that left tackle spot in Jordan Seaton. But, maybe someone kicks into guard, and now you have 2 twin towers. I believe Jordan Seaton's 6'5", 6'6", and then you have a 6'7" dude on that right tackle position. And then you get beefier with one of those 6'5", 6'4" dudes at guard. And then now you got you got a whole situation where you don't want to, do anything. You know what I'm saying? But continuing on and continuing forward, when we speak about things that have been lost from the world of Colorado, I think one really shocking was the Hood brothers. And with one of the Hood brothers, I think in the same day, Deion and Colorado went ahead and answered those questions. Because when we talked about it, right, Colton Hood had like a whole message that he put out there. And again, nothing similarly negative, but like I alluded to, I was like, hey, that clearly means in the message they were saying, we can pull, if you really want to, we can pull the message up right now. And the message said, thanks, Coach Prime. You know what I'm saying? I've enjoyed every month. They said, my brother and I dreamed of playing college football together since we were 9 years old. I came to Boulder to help the team with my brother in college and coaching. As coaching changes take place, coaches are free to bring in their own personnel. On April 25th, we learned the school is moving in a different direction, and we humbly respected direction and by entering the portal. So this was something that they knew was going to happen. And the first one had to be this running back from Incarnate Ward. Right, he's a 2-time All-Conference player, 2-time All-Conference kick returner, first-team All-Conference running back, a rush for 909 yards with 9 touchdowns. He also had 22 carries, 163 in his rookie year, it says. And it says, since y'all been waiting on it, and this is a little, I'm going to have to go over yonder to take a peek at it. But he even threw up his clips or whatnot, and so we can check these out if we can go full screen. Speed. Oh, it said he's speed? Hold up. And this is one thing I love about FCS, that we can actually watch there. Can we get to it, dog? Oh, hold up. I'm sure they're going to play some copyrighted music. So we're going to say, there he is. So a smaller guy, he kind of reminds me of a Dylan Edwards. Funny enough, I know he also wears number 3, but he's a 5'9", as opposed to a lot of the running backs that had been, getting picked up by Deion Sanders. There had been a lot of taller backs, right? You even talk about somebody like Isaiah Augustin, who was 6'2", 6'1", right? These were a lot longer of backs. Now you're going to see some shorter backs, and I'm just hoping that Dallin Hayden stays firmly playing it, because I think if you have Dallin Hayden, who can kind of fit the role of, he's got the breakaway speed, and he's got enough to be an every down back. If you can complement that with somebody like this, who seems to be definitely a speedster, seems to be somebody you want to get in space, seems to be, like I said, Dylan Edwards. Hey, throw him a swing, do something, let him return, and I think some magic will be able to make it happen. And again, that's just a lot of weapons. I think right now Colorado is just planning on having as many weapons as possible to go to battle with. And then you have former Tennessee defensive back John Slaughter. He's committed to Colorado. He's a 6'2", 200-pound. He has 2 seasons left of eligibility. Now, like we talked about with the running backs, right? When Deion he's had, or say Colorado in general, they've had some taller running backs. I'd argue that they've had, you talk about Colton Hood, who's a 5'10", 5'11" guy. He's that more, stick with you type back. Stick with you. More fluidity, great technique. I'm going to stick with you, not physically, but like with my speed, with my technique, with the way that I do things. That's what Colton Hood was. But it seems like Deion likes the longer corners. Like we talked about this all the time, every single time with Teion Parks. I believe he's 6+. Obviously Cormani McClain is 6+. You got RJ Johnson, who's been getting some good quality looks that we've seen in the spring. He's 6'2" at cornerback, right? Here's another 6'2" big body cornerback, right? And I told y'all what this is. I think what he wants to do. He's going to create an explosiveness, lots of dynamism. Hey, you're not going to have enough defensive backs to defend the 7 sets of wide receivers we have. Because I've got tall wide receivers. I got short wide receivers. I got slot demons. I got people who could take the top off. I got people who just want to go catch jump balls. Like how you want it. I can hit you over the middle. I can hit you on the edge. I can hit you with some gimmick passes. I got a running back who can do Dylan Edwards stuff now. So you give a lot of tools to whichever quarterback ends up starting. I personally, if I hope that it's the older Caden Salter. I think, you give that year of turbulence to go. Jordan Seaton gets another year under his belt. It's going to be a one and done year. Jordan Seaton's locked in for his last year. Then you get the big bad dog, Julian Lewis, in there. Hopefully things are settled. There's an identity for the team, but you never know. Maybe Julian Lewis beats it out, but whoever that quarterback is on week 1, you give them just a plethora of weapons to do that. And then on the defensive side, hey, this is the Big 12. Like this ain't the SEC. So how about I get some cornerbacks who are just gonna maul these wide receivers? Y'all want to come up with these slot demons? Y'all want to come up with these whatever? I don't think there's another Tedero McMillan back there for Arizona. So let's get some of these big press corners that are gonna get in the body of them. And from what I've seen, there's not any safeties that are really shining right now. From what I've seen, I know they just got a safety from Auburn. So that's important. So, but from what we're looking at spring, there was no safety. Corners, yeah. Hood looked good. McKinney looked good. McKinney always looks good. What's it called? But when it comes to just the build profile of these guys that they're going from, you go from the 5'8", 5'8". That's crazy. You go from the 5'10" Colton Hood to a 6'2" Slaughter, and of course RJ Johnson, all those stuff. So RJ Johnson, 6'2". Well, someone says 195, 200, whatever. He played in 22 games for the Vols and recently visited Purdue. Now, to add more context, he wasn't a first stringer. He was, he's a sophomore. He had, started here and there, big special teams guy. So the bill is still out to see if he's going to be a true impact guy. I think he can make an impact and do that, but we'll see from there. So now, how else do you go ahead and answer the question of safety, defensive back in general? Here it is. Former Kansas State defensive back Noah King, 6'3", 200, freshman defensive back. He's a freshman from Kansas 2025 recruiting class. So he, just like we talked about with the Adrian Wilson, who they lost to UNC, who, they lost him going to UNC. He is a commit from this cycle. I have no idea. I love the insurance report. I still don't understand how y'all committed, signed, and then transferred in the same, like, what happened? Anyway, not important. Not important. What is important is welcome to Colorado, son. The boy looks nice. He looks clean with the 3 on him. He's 6'3". I would imagine that's I hope that boy playing safety. If he's playing quarterback, me and Deion gonna have to have a conversation. You can't put 6'5" cornerbacks out there, son. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. You can't just hope that they can just play off the entire time and you're gonna have a bunch of safeties playing cornerback. We can't do that. So at 6'3", 200, that seems like more of a safety build. I would love to see him be 6'3", 2+, 222, you know what I'm saying? Because that is, like I'm talking about, I think that would be a culture shock in the world of the Big 12, even though I think the Big 12 has decently good decently good defensive back play. You still want to be able to bring something that, in the same way that you have dynamism, whatever it's called. I didn't pass third grade literature, son. On the wide receiver side, having that on the defensive back side, right? I think is the only way to have an answer to what can be an explosive look. Because I don't want to get it twisted. I'm not saying that it's going to work. I'm not saying having a bunch of big defensive backs to bully these wide receivers is going to contain Big 12 wide receivers. Because as much as I say they have these twitchy, they have these fast guys, they have these whatever. They're twitchy and they're fast and they're dogs and they can rack it up. Like, there's still going to be great talent there. So is that going to work? We'll see. But I think that's what he's going for. I think he wants a bigger profile when it comes to defensive back in particular. And I think that's an interesting little thought process. So let's check in on the guys that have landed. So Mr. Trevor Woods has landed at Jacksonville State. Now, the thing with Trevor Woods, and we've done an individual video on this, and shout out to all y'all who corrected me on Brian Urlacher in his collegiate years. I didn't know he made the flip from DB to linebacker. I know I'm a big, you know what I'm saying, I'm an Urlacher guy, but I'm an Urlacher NFL guy. I don't know my Urlacher college football facts. So y'all corrected me, and because they're, Deion was comparing him to Brian Urlacher. I was like, that's a lot of those are some high expectations. But here he is, playing the position that he wanted to play, which was safety. We talked about him tweeting out that he was still in the portal and he was excited to play safety and do that, and not want to be linebacker. And we talked about some of the frustrations that he probably must have had, and the fact that I think Trevor Woods is one of those players that it's easy to see why, right? It's easy to see why that he would want to get in the portal. No matter if it's the NIL era or not, this is somebody who has put in a lot of work with Colorado, who's tried different positions, who's tried different ways. And at this point, he clearly saw that the writing was on the wall. I think if you give enough time to a school, you could not be mad at some of these kids. Like, we have to distinguish who is someone who's just popping in the portal all the time and who is someone who's like, hey, I've done the work. I've competed multiple times. I've got to use in all things that I can. You go to a smaller school in Jacksonville State so you can play the spot that you want to play. Love to see that there. Colorado linebacker, obviously because he was a linebacker, Trevor Wood has signed with Jacksonville State. He had 167 career tackles, 7 pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 interceptions. And he reunites with Mr. Charles. What's it called? What do you call Charles Kelly? That's good. I think that's all positive. If you're hating on Trevor Woods, I don't really know what your dealio is. Now, this one, which again, like we just read, came as a bit of a shocker. I think to me, I think he was not only projected to be a top tier guy, but I think easily could see there. Former Auburn guy, XYZ, and now you see him. Oh, another transfer update. Sorry, I'll be getting them. I'll be getting them live, son. I'll be getting them live. Just making sure ain't got nothing to do with this video except Oklahoma running back just went to Florida State. Mr. Colton Hood, and obviously his brother left too. We read his message that Colton Hood left, and obviously it was that they were going in different situations. And it seems like it was a player swap, right? You get Colton Hood going to Tennessee, and then you get the Tennessee defensive back and Tennessee offensive tackle. He was a 5-star, and like I said, Colton Hood's a dog. Colton Hood, 5'11", 190. You know what I'm saying? That small, I wouldn't say smaller build. This is like the prototypical build for corner, right? That 5'10" to 6 foot range, right? Enough size to deal with it, but still have great hips and great mobility to be able to break things up. And I think Colton Hood was a great addition of that and a great example of that. But now he finally lands in Tennessee. So from SEC to Colorado back to SEC is nothing new to him. So I think that's going to be interesting there. I think the real question is, do y'all want a Tennessee video? Because not just with the Nico situation, but I've talked about this in my other transfer portal videos. Dog, Tennessee's been losing a lot of players. Like, they've been losing a lot of players since as soon as the playoff ended, players started flying. So everybody wants to get on Nico, and he did this, he did that. Is there something else going on in Tennessee? I don't know. We might find out with Colton Hood. Maybe it's cool for him. With the best for 10 fans and whatever kind of 10ness they got going on. Hook 'em horn, son. That's all I got to tell you. Y'all know me. I'm a Longhorn fan. But that is the update on the transfer portal. Hopefully, I don't know if there's going to be any more updates. Again, technically, the portal is closed. It does not mean that there aren't people being signed. Again, this literally happened not 34 minutes ago, but as recording, it was 34 minutes ago, like 2 hours ago. So this happened today. I believe Colton Hood signed today. Do I have? Yep. Oh, it's April 29th. Do I have? Okay, no, yeah, that's today. And he signed today too. So they're still signing even a week after the portal was supposed to be closed. So who really knows? what's going on. But as of now, that's crazy. Colorado has a top 20 transfer class in the country after 4-star Noah King's commitment. They're doing some damage. They're in the likes of the Alabamas, the USCs, and the UCLA. So I think Deion Sanders is upholding some of his promises of the portal. But y'all let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy football content, college football content, draft content, all types of different things, man. But other than that, man, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. Keep being great. You are great. So keep doing it, dog. Peace.